That's why I made that song. I beat your ass. If you listen to the lyrics, it was for Dana White. Because
That
I
is
couldn't say
so
I want to beat Dana White.
Yeah.
I was a maniac in training. I trained like a animal. My coaches kicked me out the gym. And I know a lot of people say that, but like literally,
yeah.
ask anybody. My coaches kicked me out the gym. And I love women. And if I train hard, then my coach would allow me to fly some men. But if I didn't, I couldn't. I also love brownies. I love Robbie, man. Me and Robbie never spoke after that, and it's kind of a bummer
Oh
because I
wow.
really, really supported him. But like Randy will tell you, I did viewing parties for his title fights. Like my family loved Robbie. Like I really loved Robbie. Like not just saying like actual love to do because he was one of the last of a dying breed.
Sure.
He was a martial artist. He didn't have to talk fast.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Verse Us with Eric Nicksick. He is Eric Nicksick. I am Randy Fainrich, and this is Verse Us. Verse Us is presented by mybookie.ag. At MyBookie, you bet, you win, they pay. Head to mybookie.ag and use code VERSUSPOD, that's VSUS pod, to get a bonus match on your first deposit. And today's a special one, man. Today we are joined by one of the all-time greats in combat sports, one of the legends of MMA. He's a 5-time UFC champ whose reign spanned nearly 3 years. After some time in boxing, he's now stepping back into the MMA game this year with the GFL. He is the chosen one. Tyron Woodley, welcome to the show.
Yes, sir. What's up,
What's
champ?
up, man? What's up? What's up?
What's going on, man?
I
How are you?
appreciate you guys, man. I'm doing good. It's different doing an interview with you, Randy, because we did a lot of work together in the UFC. You looked out quite a bit, a lot of activations, a lot of sponsors and stuff, and you was a savage back then. So I appreciate you. And Eric, the same thing with you. I worked with you a couple times, did it Extreme Couture, and it's just good to see people using a different brushstroke. But now you guys are just showing that you guys are complete artists and that you guys can have a conversation and share some light on some good subjects.
Man, appreciate that, T Wood. Really appreciate that. Yeah, we have a history. Obviously, when I was at UFC, that was, you were there. That was the prime of your UFC run. Obviously champion and everything. I'm sure we'll touch on a number of things. Maybe that Super Bowl week in Houston.
Oh my God.
But first and
Crazy.
foremost, man, like how you doing? How you feeling? How's it feel to kind of be back into training and now making this, getting ready for this debut at GFL?
It feels good. For a while, I kind of I don't want to say I abandoned MMA, but MMA towards the end of my career became quite a bit of a chore. You know what I
Mm,
mean?
yeah.
And now I recognize how much of a blessing it is just to even do what you're good at, one, and do what you love. Um, Time in my career, I was just going heads up with everybody, man. It was kind of like me against the world, and it was just I didn't give a fuck at that time, and I was like,
Right.
you know what, I wanted all smoke, so I just was who I was, and I wasn't willing to change that, and I don't regret it at all, but it did take a little bit of the love away for me, and it just took me stepping away from it, looking at the UFC and mixed martial arts as a whole, away from it. When you're in it, you're in it, and it's hard to look at from the outside. So I'm just grateful for being able to show I was the best in the world. I'm grateful for the highs and I'm grateful for the lows because each lesson I learned like 10 years worth of, what I mean, material
Hmm.
in 1 year. So it grew me to a point where I'm at right now. I'm excited to get back in there to the sport that put me on the map, the sport that showed me so many lessons, good and bad. And now it's time to go out there and kick some ass.
T Wood, did some of the business side of things start to wear you down too? Or was it more of just like the daily grind, or was it a combination of everything?
I love the grind. I was always better in the gym than I was in the octagon, to be
Yeah.
honest. So I was one of the fighters that if you saw me train and you saw me spar, and what I mean, for all the people, I love the fans that thought those performances were remarkable. Outside of the Darren Till and the Koscheck fight, those were pretty flawless performances for me. Most of my performances, I left and I felt like I could have did a little bit more, and I left a little bit out there. So I never hated the training. I didn't hate the business either because I was a businessman.
Yep.
Came in with a business degree.
Right.
That's who I was. I think it was more so the politics and more so I understood how to work the system, but I also understood when the system wasn't for me, when it was against me. And when the system's against you gotta kind of just be quiet. And there
Yeah.
was moments when you just see me freeze and be quiet on social media because an African American athlete that's speaking the facts and truth sometimes can come off as complaining, being entitled, race baiting, right? And it's not something that's going to lift your level up. So the best thing I can do is just continue to show them, continue to beat people, right? And continue to show that I'm a versatile artist, that I can do music, I can do television, I can do producing, I can fight, I can commentate. And that's kind of what I did.
What'd you miss the most while you were away from the sport? Or was it the team, the camaraderie, just being in the gym every day? What'd you miss the most?
I miss the discipline.
Yeah.
You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Boxing, no disrespect. I mean, I'm not saying MMA fighters or a lot of these crossover athletes coming into boxing, we're not at the level of a boxer that's been doing it forever. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Just look at the layers of defense. Like, I admire them and I watch them, but I just know that at 43 years old, I'll be 43 tomorrow. At 43 years old, I'm not going to be able to be a defensive fighter like a Canelo. Like,
Right.
I'm not. I mean, it'll take me another 5 years to do that. And I don't know that I'll be competing for another 5 years. So but the discipline, the different sports that we got to cross train, right? Um, it's a lot easier to boxing train than it is to MMA train.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
my two boxing fights, I didn't get a chance to like go amateur and take small fights. Both of my fights were the top two fights of the entire year.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Big review, big Showtime fights, right? A lot of promotion. So it was fun. I enjoyed it. I trained my ass off. I had fun. You know what I mean? I was promoted in a way that I felt like this is my opportunity to show what I always knew I could be. And we had the biggest fights, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thankful for it. Um, I'm even thankful for the outcomes because I didn't ball up. I didn't ball up in the shell. I didn't just go away because I suffered a knockout loss or a close split decision loss. Like I can go back in my training camp and I can go back through specific things like fighting temptation is just focus and because I had a lot of shit coming at me.
Mm-hmm.
Training
Mm-hmm.
in Miami, everybody know the kind of bag I was about to touch. You know what I mean? It was a lot. I mean, you guys understand. I know you understand, Eric,
Yep.
because as soon as everything shifts,
Yep.
you get so much more attention, so much different level of a female coming towards you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not gonna act like I deflected all the temptation, and I feel like a little bit more
Can't run
locked
that
in.
fast.
Like I mean, I was a few punches away from winning the first fight. I was
Yeah.
winning the entire second fight, and I got hit with a punch in the sixth round. I had two more rounds left, so
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the discipline that MMA camps provides, the structure. My coaches know this time around is no games, no play, no leniency. You know what I mean? Just because I was so late, I'm gonna share some stuff with you that I've never shared before, but I was a maniac in training. I trained like a fucking animal. My coaches kicked me out the gym. And I know a lot of people say that, but like literally
Yeah.
ask anybody, my coaches kicked me out the gym. And I love women. And if I train hard, then my coach would allow me to fly something in. But if I didn't, I couldn't. I also love brownies, right? So on Friday, if I train hard, we would go to Whole Foods, get the healthiest version of a brownie, and I would earn the brownie, right? But I would have to work my ass off all week, right? I never turned down flying somebody in. But a couple times I said, I don't want the brownie. But I never said I don't want the one, right? So this time around, no games like that. No games
Yeah.
like that. I'm strict. I got a strict cutoff on when anybody can get in the kitchen. I might even just start the camp from the beginning with the cutoff.
Mm.
Deflect everybody, put my phone on, do not disturb, and just lock in. Because when I look at my career, the only thing, not even my career, my life, the only thing that's kind of stifled me is me not fighting the temptation.
Mm. Mm.
So,
Were you doing camp all in St. Louis, or are you going out to Miami at all?
yeah, I'm doing St. Louis.
Okay.
Funny story is, guy trained with Mike. excuse me, Mike Rogers. That's my first trainer. He was actually my high school wrestling coach. So when I
Mm.
first, the Strike Force days, when I first got off in it, I started training with Mike. And at that time, I got signed by Randy Couture and Sam Spira,
Yep.
and I was with Assume Couture Management. So I was able to train at Alliance. I was training at Team Quest, Strength on Tour, American Top Team, AKA. Not because of the management team, but I was already opening my eyes up to more than St. Louis. And if you know St. Louis is more like a nested mindset. So if you leave, you think you're better than everybody. And up until
Mm-hmm.
like recently, people weren't really open to leaving home and going out and seeing what the other camps have to offer. I've always been on that.
Yeah.
So me and Mike, we kind of fell out, and it was like the weirdest way we fell out is he was a roofer and he would work from 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. And he was running an MMA gym by himself. St. Charles MMA had no MMA. It was just Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Mm-hmm.
I went up to him and I said, I want to fucking fight MMA and you gonna coach me. And he was like, I don't have an MMA team, I got a jiu-jitsu team. I said, well, these jiu-jitsu dudes finna put on some gloves and spar. So I started, I started sparring all these jiu-jitsu guys, and then it was like, shit, we ain't finna just let them beat us up. We want to try it out too. Right. So then St. Charles MMA became, St. Charles Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which was all gi, no gi.
Oh
It
wow.
became an MMA gym, right? And I really shifted the culture in the area to like, you don't have to just do jujitsu, gi jujitsu, MMA, boxing. You can mix it up. So we fell out because he was roofing and he was working 17 classes a day, being everybody's dad, right? And he was working off maybe 1 or 2 hours of sleep,
Mm.
right? So he started, as you fighters know, we start to forget shit.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I forget shit. Somebody will tell me something. I'm like, you did not tell me that. They're like, yes, I did. I'm like, no, you didn't, dog. You did not. And they show me a text. I'm like, fuck, I did. So I asked him if his one of his fighters, right, which was like he was a good fighter, but he wasn't like, I mean, he was decent, but I was whooping his ass. It's not like I'm asking you to come and train my fighters.
Mm-hmm.
I was asking him to come and teach my kids. So in St. Louis, like I told you, with the Nessa mindset, they thought I was trying to steal him away from the gym and bring him to my gym. And then the way it unfolded is everybody was already hating on me and jealous of me because I was the first one. I'm the first and only one to win a championship in the state of Missouri, right?
Mm.
Nobody else has done it. Chandler's been in there a couple times, which I started Chandler. I managed Chandler. I got him his first deal. I coached him when he was in college, and I let him tag around with me all white. His sophomore, junior, senior year in college, he was with me at Extreme. He was with me at AKA. No, he didn't go. He went to
Alliance.
Alliance
Yeah.
American Top Team. Yeah, Alliance American Top Team. And yeah, so I kind of started that way. So if you look at my gym was never a fighter gym. It was more a performance gym. It was more if a fighter's good, then they would send them to me to help me. I would help perfect them. That was my relationship with Dan Lambert. I never had a fighter gym. They stink up the gym. They're not loyal. They leave. They walk around with their shirt and sweaty, and they scare off fucking clients, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, I didn't see it as a great business model, right? So that whole thing went through, and everybody at the gym all thought I was. They was just waiting. To be honest, they was just looking for some reason to kind of hate on me, right? So
Mm-hmm.
now they're like, no, we. They had like an allegiance with me. At that time, I didn't give a fuck. I was doing my thing, right? So I was like, cool. So then I was already training, already a part of American Top Team, already training at these camps. But then I just didn't go back and cross train when I was in St. Louis. When I was in St. Louis, I had my own gym. I flew in Tiago Alves, Kobe Covington. I flew in all these random people to train with me, and I never really needed the. I had my core people from St. Louis, Daryl Cobb, dude named Luke, Luigi Ferravante, two or three other guys. You don't need many guys,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
You
Yeah.
need guys that know you, know when you loafing, know how to push you, and won't hurt you in
Yep.
camp,
And
right?
reliable. Be here.
Right.
and be here. So I coached myself all the way up until Kelvin Gastelum. I didn't have a coach.
Hmm.
So I constructed my own camp. I set my own times. I had my own guys in there. We worked our ass off. I did strength and conditioning, and I ran 3 or 4 days a week, and that was my camp. And then finally, I was like, fuck, man, I think I'm the best out of all these welterweights. I swear to you, I was just sitting in the gym and I was talking. You can ask Dean Thomas this, and I was like, Dean, I think I'm the best. He's like, I've been telling you this forever, right? So I forced Dean to come and coach me. I used to be Dean's coach,
Yeah.
but now I'm like, no, you're my coach
Now,
now.
yeah.
Then I went to Duke Rufus to train because Robbie had a butt hair loose when we had to fight for a title,
Hmm.
which I was the American top team guy first. I've never been with another team
Yeah.
from 2005 into now, 20 years straight. I helped build a program that brought the wrestlers in,
Right.
the reason why they got the dorms at the top. I recruited at the NCAAs for them. Kobe Covington and the whole group that came in would have never been there had it not been for me. I showed them that wrestlers were the pedigree.
Hmm.
They had the mentality, they had the repetitious drilling that would actually turn into reactions in their art. We had a great base, and it was hard to submit us, hard to sweep us. And if you start setting us up, you're like, oh, what you doing? You may not know the technique, but we know you up to something because wrestling is all based off setups,
Hmm.
Hmm.
right? So that was kind of the thing. So I made my run. I went after it crazy. Dan Lambert blessed me to go to Rufus Sport to train to break up the camp because I started camp at Coconut Creek.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, Conan, I love Conan. That's he like a father to me. And then they wanted us both there, right? Just split times and training because it's like the first camp versus camp
Yeah.
in
Right.
the title fight.
But you can't do
But
that,
when we
right?
got
Like
there,
you can't really have that, right? Because I feel like like by
shit, I don't
nature.
care. I was winning anyway.
No, of course. But what I mean is like that you can't. There will be like discussions, right, amongst
Yeah.
like people helping Robbie and people helping T Wood. It's like I feel like it's almost like high school in that way, where like you couldn't help but to probably have some.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Some
Definitely. But like
people-
in a gym big enough, like ATT, like
Yeah.
I can see. I mean, it is what it is. Like that's my goal. That's your goal. I know we
Right.
both want to be champions. We both want to be great. Bro, I would split it up. To be honest with
Really?
you. Yeah, I would.
That's what we
Yeah.
tried to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's up, guys? Thank you for watching the show. I appreciate all the comments, all the love, all the support. But if there's anything we can do better, if there's guests you want to see coming on, let us know. Put it in the comments. Tell us what we can do. Now, back to the show.
But
If
Robbie
we
wasn't
split it
having it.
up. No, this is what happened, and I don't want to sound messy. I don't want to bring up names, but a specific striking coach at ATT, he accused us of putting cameras and watching Robbie, right?
Oh shit! I remember this.
And
I remember
and I'm
this.
like, if you know me, I get a
Mhm.
boner off of figuring you out myself. I don't want no fucking.
Yeah, I don't
Right,
need that
you
shit.
don't
I
have
don't
help.
want no cheat sheet. I never took a PED. Last time I cheated on the test was the eighth grade. So at the end of the day, for me, pride myself in
Right.
figuring it out. I don't listen to fights with commentators. No disrespect. You're not going to freak me out of something I'm not scared of.
Right.
Right? Ooh, watch out for this. Ooh, this is coming. Ooh, oh, ah. I don't do that. I listen to that shit on mute.
Yep.
I watch the fighter and I watch him fighting people that look like me. How did he do against Jake Ellenberger? How did he do against Koscheck? How did he do against guys that are wrestlers with a power right hand? How he's going to fight me the same way,
Yep.
Mhm.
right? So at the end of the day, we went down to camp. I was there for like 2 weeks. I mean, I love Robbie, man. Me and Robbie never spoke after that, and it's kind of a bummer
Oh
because I
wow.
really, really supported him. But like Randy will tell you, I did viewing parties for his title fights. Like
Mhm.
my family loved Robbie. Like I really loved Robbie. Like not just saying like actual love to do because he was one of the last of a dying breed.
Sure.
He was a martial artist. He didn't have to talk crap. If you got to know him, which many people didn't, because he didn't speak much, right? He was real giving and he was real gentle. He was just a good dude, right?
Right.
And his road from being in the UFC, Dana told him, go ahead and you young, go fight some fights outside the organization. We'll bring you back, right? He went out to Strike Force, Elite XC, and then he didn't have like the A+ career outside of that. But when he came back to the UFC, nobody can ever deny his run that he
Mhm.
ran to the title, right? Some of the most remarkable fights you'll ever see. So as a friend and as a brother, I supported him. He brought home the first belt to ATT. Now he didn't start at ATT.
Right.
I'm the first product of ATT that they can say we started him from amateur all the way through. And he won a UFC title, right? So when we got it, I get it. It's sensitive. It's a sensitive moment, and he just felt kind of like I think he felt kind of like hurt as a friend. It was
Mm.
real personal for him. He thought it was personal for me, but it wasn't. I started MMA at 23. That's
Right.
old.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get a chance to get another opportunity. You tell Dana White no to a title fight, you think you're gonna get another opportunity?
Right.
No. I would have loved for it to be somebody else, Johnny Hendrick. I would have loved for it to be GSP. I would love for it to be anybody besides Robbie. And when I got the opportunity, it happened to be Robbie.
Yeah.
Because you're a competitor. That's the thing. Like, how many times have you
Yeah.
wrestled friends or competed against people that you were considered a brother? But there's a competitor in all of us that's like, bro, my job is to beat you.
Right.
Like if
Yeah.
we squared up on Madden right now, I'm trying to take your head off.
Yeah, and the thing is too,
Yeah.
like that's the nature of your business. It's not Madden, right?
Right.
It's
Yeah.
hand-to-hand combat, and that's what it is. And you should know that there's always that potential of that happening. XC has how many middleweights? Like,
Well, bro, like
it's always
when,
a potential.
When
you
T
know?
Wood came out and trained with us, like Jay Heron was like a big brother to him. And I remember when T Wood beat Jay, and Jay was like, it was the passing of the guard for him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it was never personal. Like, Jay knew like this was the next generation, the next
Yeah.
breed. And it was kind of like the samurai death,
Yeah.
right? It's like that was when Jay
Yeah.
retired, and,
Yeah.
and there was no
And he
hard
showed me
feelings.
how to do it right.
Yeah.
To be
Right.
honest.
Dang. So
Because me and Jay were really tight. We were really cool before then.
Mhm.
And when Sam hit me up and said, it's weird. Like Sam and Randy's my manager. And then the UFC called me. I was doing this low budget movie, which hope never comes out ever. Right. I was doing this movie, right? And they called me while I was on set and they was like, you in the UFC. So I don't care who it is. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm in. Let's do it. Right. It was like Jay Heron.
Damn.
So I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
So what you say? Yes, I'm in for my first fight, but no, I don't want him. Give me somebody else.
Yeah.
It don't work that way.
Right.
Yeah.
Damn. So you
And
and Robbie still have not spoken, huh? You have either of you
man,
tried to reach out or?
man, I don't know how to reach out to him because it's
Yeah, it's not like he's on
like
Instagram or anything.
I,
Like,
I
you know
don't
what I mean?
like Robbie's. I started Robbie's Instagram.
Did you really?
Yeah, he didn't have Instagram. So we
Wow.
was at Dan Lambert house playing poker. It was me, Hector Lombard, Robbie Lawler, Ben Saunders, Luigi Fervante, Thiago Alves. He had a poker night with all the top welterweights in the world. And Kobe was there too. And we all was drilling Kobe because Kobe had went to like alpha male for a while. And he was talking about,
Yeah.
oh, nobody want to spar us. You know what I mean? I don't have no. We all like, we say, okay, if he lasts one round with any of us, right? We was laughing and making bets on it because literally we all tortured Kobe. He was like the little puppy to us in the gym, but he was capping to the other guys, acting like nobody wanted to spar him, right?
Right.
Masvidal was there, but he wasn't welterweight yet. But it was like all of like the OG welterweights, and the number one OG welterweight is Thiago Alves.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Before me, before Robbie, he's the number one OG. I used to go and train him. I helped him beat Matt Hughes, and you know what I mean. I trained him for many training camps. You know what I mean. He used to beat my ass. I'm not gonna lie, but he couldn't stop me from taking him down. And I couldn't stop him from kicking me in the head. So then I became better at striking, and he became better at wrestling. So
That's
we
how it
sharpened
works.
each other over
Yep.
years and years. Yeah.
That's incredible, man.
No, I would love to have a conversation with Robbie.
Yeah.
I was happy to see him going to Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And I know what they were doing because you seen like he's not a social media guy at all. Like I
Right.
just told you, I took his phone and I signed him up on Instagram at Dan Lambert House. Got right-handed guy, right? So the UFC had him take over Snapchat and take over the UFC and the greatest moments from Robbie. They do it because what they're doing is They're pleading his case, which they don't have to do.
Right.
Nobody's going to argue that he's a shoe-in, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But how did he go in before I went in? That's really what it was about, right?
Yeah.
And I saw when they were doing it, and it's like, one, if you know me, you know I'm never gonna beg to be inducted into anything. The only Hall of Fame I'm trying to make it into that I care about for real is heaven, right?
Right. Right.
I want to be in the next Bible. That's my goal, right?
Right.
I don't want to be talked about somebody that had everything thrown against them, never gave up, fell down, got up, never let their kids see them quit ever. My kids ain't never seen me quit. They see me win, they see me make millions, right? They see me get knocked out. They got to go to school and kids laughing about the Jake Paul thing. They also got people say, "Hey, is Tyron Woodley really your dad?" You know what I mean? So I've
Right.
had everything, but that's what the UFC was kind of doing at the time. And I told my dude, I said, what they're doing is they're building up the case why he should be inducted before me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hey,
So I'm like,
can I ask you too, like on that
yeah,
note, obviously your relationship with the UFC got very tumultuous after you won the title, right? Like
yeah,
at least when I was there, like that's when it seemed like it kind of started to change. Like I remember there was like an issue with like because they had you on UFC 201, right? The same month as
yeah,
UFC 200, the biggest pay-per-view of all time at that time.
yeah,
And then you're asking people 2.5 weeks later to pay another $70 for
yeah,
201, and then you turn around and say, well, he's not a pay-per-view draw. And it's like people just spent their money 2.5 weeks ago for Brock Lesnar and DC and
Right. You
Amanda
just
Nunes and Misha and Ronda and all these people.
yeah.
So my question is, how do you balance, like, how did you balance kind of like your title reign specifically with all the noise from the UFC? Because like it was evident that Dana and the UFC, like, you guys were at odds a lot
I
on
mean,
certain things.
I feel like they feel like this motherfucker think he's too smart, right? That's
Yeah.
kind of what I always felt, right?
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna dumb myself down for nobody. I know everybody's numbers. When you're a fighter, you know everybody's numbers. I go to the negotiation table differently.
Right.
If I know somebody is negotiating a new deal each fight, and matter if they're on the 10 fight deal or not, if I'm the champion, motherfucker, now it's my time to do that.
Yeah.
I was on the same management team with an athlete that was doing that. So when I fought Robbie, you got to recognize Robbie was American top team. He was managed by Dan Lambert, right? So a lot of the negotiations to fight me, I know about. I
Right.
know you got an extra 250,000 to fight me. Both of us fight for American top team. So I knew some of his contract negotiation. I knew what he was going to get because after we fought, he left American top team,
Right.
right? He was making extra money because they knew it wasn't going to be a pay-per-view. UFC 200 was one of the biggest UFCs ever, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
right after that, 202 was going to be Conor, right? So if you're on a fixed income, you got to pick and choose. I'm picking 200 and I'm picking the other one. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? I'm picking the one with Conor. So what was told to him was, you know what I mean? Go ahead, fight this fight. Tyron ain't fought in 18 months. He be backing up. You were the fighter of the year back to back, right? You're gonna knock him out, and when you beat him, now you go on to Madison Square Garden. You either fight George St. Pierre or you fight Conor, right? So that's what the rift started before then, but the big rift of like the power dispute is I know what he was offering. Now
Mm.
if it's an NCAA tournament and he's the first seed and I beat the first seed,
I
well, motherfucker, I'm the first seed.
Yep.
Right.
So I want everything that he was about to do. I want everything that you talked about. I want every little perk. I want every little extra under the table. And I was relentless on it. And that's kind of how like it's been times where Daniel called me and said, "Hey, Hector Lombard can't fight. Can you fight this dude?" I said, "Shit, let me go to the gym real quick, see how I feel." And I said, "All right, well, I feel good. I'm already in Asia. Let's go ahead and fight Daniel
Yeah.
Kim." I fought Damian Maya with 3 weeks notice. I fought Darren Till in 3 weeks notice.
Yeah.
Really, Darren Till was a fight where they would kind of leave me out not to be a draw because the day before we fought was Triple G versus Canelo. One.
Mm-hmm.
I'm watching that over myself. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not even gonna lie. Especially after I fought Damian Maya, if you demote the fighter instead of promote the fighter and tell people not to watch me, tell
Yeah.
people I'm boring. Even though I beat Damian Maya with one arm, I tore my labrum with the first uppercut, and he went 23 in barbecue trying to take me down. He
Yep.
didn't get one
Mm-hmm.
shot. And this dude had taken out all of his last 12 opponents and submitted his last seven. He's the
Mm-hmm.
best grappler. Like when you think about it, Robbie's maybe one of the best brawlers, technical brawlers in the sport. Wonderboy's probably one of the best point fighter, karate fighters. I mean, it's between him and Machida. At that point, it's just what your palate is,
Mm-hmm.
right? And when you look at Damian Maya, he's one of the best jiu-jitsu players ever fight. So I beat the top guys
Right. The
in
specialists.
specializing. Yeah, and I kind of beat them at what they did best.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. How?
But I had to just just focus on just win. And said Tyron, you getting your hands in the bunch. It don't matter, right? And I wish I would have listened more because I was fighting for respect so much. But Dan
Mm-hmm.
said, just win.
Yep.
Win conquers everything. If you don't get paid what you think you should get paid, just keep winning. Just keep winning.
Yeah. What was your favorite event out of the two that you fought? 205 or 217? Because 205 was like that first New York card. It was stacked. Everybody was there. But
That was hard.
217 was like John's return. It was the rematch finally because DC had pulled out of the fight earlier that year, or the year prior, I think it was.
I mean, you really can't even compare 217 to 205.
Yeah.
With
205?
205, we broke the Madison Square Garden record of the gate, which we still hold.
Yeah.
Like we talking about Ring, Hot Chili Peppers, Beyonce, Jay-Z,
Bro, Madonna was there.
Ali.
I saw
I mean, Madonna.
Madonna front row at a UFC
I
fight.
saw
I said,
Madonna when
what
I
the
was
fuck?
in the cage.
Yeah.
Like I'm fighting, I look over, like, oh fuck, and people that I know from the like, don't look at me making eye contact, like, because you make me feel like I got to do something extra because you're looking at me. Like, some people, like, I hate when people on the side, like on the ring side, like the celebrities,
Right.
they want to make eye contact with you
So
because that's their
bad.
piece to take home. I looked at him, I told him to throw the right hand, he threw it, he gave me that nod. Everybody know we know each other. You know what I mean? Like, it was too
Yeah.
many. I closed my eyes, man. It was too many. It
Yeah.
was too many stars.
Hey, 205, real quick. That clip has gone viral again of Connor like sizing you up in the back after weigh-ins, after the
Connor
morning
ain't size
weigh-ins.
up shit.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like, have you seen that go viral again? And also, like in that
I
moment,
mean,
what? Go ahead.
this is the thing. Everybody that really knows, right? And the UFC was upset with me because it would have been good promotion. Maybe I should have did it because it could have led to us fighting,
Yeah.
right? But I went on Ariel Hawani's show and I went off on Connor like in a crazy way
Yeah.
because where I'm from, people get shot in the head for calling you a bitch, right? So Connor has never spoken shit about me since then,
Mm-hmm.
not one time. And he recognized who he can play with. I'm not one of those guys. Like
Yeah.
I get what you're doing. It's a smoke and mirrors. It's all that stuff.
Yeah.
But he was upset because he came in looking like Cruella DeVille with a Gucci fur on it with a tag on it still. And shit, I took the video of it. You want to look stupid? I'm
Yeah.
gonna video it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We're in the world star world.
That
So
shit was
I
hilarious,
posted
though.
it, and they got dumb views. I think it like 4 or 5 million views.
Yeah.
And he was super mad about it. But then I never understood what he was mad about. If I did something, somebody video it, I know somebody made video because I'm doing it.
Right.
Right? I'm not gonna do nothing I'm not willing somebody video. So I posted a video of him acting like he was gonna throw the chair. Like what I'm saying is that where I'm from, we don't do this, don't hold me back. We don't
Yeah.
do like, oh, let's get tough when we see security. If I want to punch you, there's not one security trained well enough that's going to stop me from getting to you and putting my hands on you. If I want to throw a chair, I'm going to throw a chair. So it's kind of like, don't hold me back, right?
Right.
Which I thought was funny, and I still think it's funny. So, we did the weigh-ins, and I didn't think nothing about it. So I'm cutting weight, I'm dry, I'm not even thinking about him. I'm thinking about Wonderboy.
Right.
So I walked past him and I said, "What's up?" And then he didn't say nothing. I said, "What's up?" And he said, "What's up?" Right? And then I kind of moseyed around. But the way they shot it, if you look at the clip, look at the clip and the camera that says In and Out Burger, that's a UFC camera. That's the guy that was shooting he was shooting the what is it, the road or the 360,
Embedded.
whatever, embedded. He
Yeah.
was shooting the embedded, right? So that's the camera of the POV of what really took place. The camera that we see viral is the Mac Live camera. That's Connor's camera,
Yeah.
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 right? So you see the back of my head and you see him looking at me.
Yeah.
But there's no point, like I wouldn't even notice he was looking at me until he didn't speak, right?
Yeah.
So I said something, I stopped and I turned around and I said, "What's up?" He's like, "Mhm." All right, then I kept about my business. Because one, you heard me talking to you, dog. Don't sit here and get slapped. Right. So no, Connor never wanted to fight me. Like, can I
Nah.
be real? Connor has been flown into Las Vegas with offers to fight me. No. So has George St. Pierre several times. So has Nate Diaz. So has Nick Diaz. So has Michael Bisping. All five of them have been offered super large paydays. The only person that said yes was Nate Diaz, and he said yes, I'm fighting for 5 million. It's like, get out of here, right? But but he's the only one that ever said yes. He's like, I'm not fighting him because I just fought Connor, beat Connor. My juice is up right now, right? And
Right.
he a hard fight. So if I'm gonna take that kind of risk, I want to make more money than I made when I fought Connor.
Right. Was that what
So
217 was supposed to be? Right? Wasn't that when they
what's
wanted
that?
you, Nate, and you? Wasn't it for the title?
They they asked me to fight. No, they asked after I fought Damian Maya,
Oh, it was after Maya.
right?
Okay.
Yeah, after I fought Maya, I tore my labrum
Mm-hmm.
in the fight. And if you know anybody that tore a labrum, you can throw straight punches, but you're not hooking, you're not uppercutting, that baby coming out.
Mm-hmm.
So they asked me to fight Nate. I said, shit, I'll fight him because that's a big payday. He's
Right.
not gonna take me down. He's not gonna rough me up. He don't have no power, right? And he's not even gonna get me to the ground to even try to do no jujitsu on me. That's a big money fight for me. So I accepted the fight with a torn labrum, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they asked me, and they said, "Oh, I'll do it for 5 million," right? Now I don't even know that the fight's off. So I go on Fox and they asked me, Tyron, was the next fight? Now, the way things worked in the UFC when I was a title holder, I got asked second. My opponents got asked to fight me first. So
Wow.
I assume that if you're asking me, the other side is already ready to go.
Agreed. Yeah.
So I go on the air and they're like, Tyron, who's your next fight gonna be? I'm like, shit, if I gotta bet my house on it, I'm gonna say it's Nate Diaz. And that's out the blue. So everybody's like, oh my God. And Dana was like, oh, if he's betting his house, that means he's homeless. I'm like, I had Dana, I'm like, why the fuck would you do that, dog? You just asked me to fight him. And I said, yeah. So he said, no, we want you to fight RDA. I'm like, the same one that just ran through my dog. That is like the Terminator,
Yeah.
looking like he was on a ooey. No, I'm not fighting a wrestler, grappler with that kind of pressure with a torn labrum.
Right.
You can't keep somebody off of you. I said, if it's between me fighting him, I'm gonna go ahead and get the surgery. And then that's when they put up the interim fight against RDA
And
versus
Kobe.
Kobe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
But
right.
like that's just common sense.
Yeah.
Like I was just talking to my homie Keegan O'Toole. The first, I don't know how he did it, but the first 5-time All-American from Mizzou, because they had like some COVID year,
Right.
red shirt, Olympic shirt. But he won 2 or 3 NCAA titles and he been in the finals 3 times. So he just wrestled the whole season with a torn ACL,
That's
right?
right.
Wow.
That's right.
He just made the NCAA finals with a torn ACL. He was actually, I can't disclose it, but he was giving me hell a couple of days ago, right? I'm like, I'm old, you know what I mean? I ain't the same as you, you know what I mean? But but when you gotta compete and it's like wrestling and you can do so many things around, you can protect their legs so many different ways, and you know your opponents, you compete.
Yeah.
If I'm going to get somebody I know that's going to try to take me down a million times, right? That's good at jujitsu, that's going to be a pressure fighter. I'm putting myself in a position where 100%, I thought I'd piece him up. I'm not letting no 55-pounder come up and beat me
Right.
because I barely made 70. Like I killed myself to make that. To me, I'm bullying a person like that. I want that opportunity. I don't want to fight him knowing I'm not 100% because if I lose to him, nobody gonna want to hear, "Oh, I put my shoulder."
Mm-hmm.
There's no do backs. There's no repeats. He's
Mm-hmm.
gonna walk forward and he beat me. You know what I mean?
All right, guys, it's playoff season for the NBA. Who we taking? Lakers. We got to take the Celtics, though, right? My boy Joe Mazzulla. We got to take the Celtics. But anyways, go to mybookie.ag. At MyBookie, it's easy. You bet, you win, they pay. At MyBookie, we have over 150 bets you can choose from. Anything on the fights, hoops, football, prop bets, minute bets, it's all there. Head to mybookie.ag and use code VSUSPOD. Not only will you get a 50% bonus on your first deposit up to $1,000, you also get a $10 casino chip where I know I've hit many parlays on a little $10 little flyer, little casino chip bet. So that's the way to go. At mybookie.ag, you bet, you win, they pay. Now let's get back to the show.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
no.
You got to make
That's
the
why I
right
made that
decision.
song. I beat your ass. If you listen to the lyrics, it was for Dana White.
That
I
is
couldn't
so
say I want to beat Dana White ass,
Yeah.
but I wanted to bad because he made me look stupid. Like, why you gonna sit here and act like everybody, Bisbee and Florian was laughing? I'm like, ha ha ha. I'll beat both of your ass. Not Florian, that's my dog. But but yeah, like you made me look stupid, man. Like, and then when I went on air, I couldn't defend myself. So if somebody said something about it, they shut my mic off. They in my ear. You can't reply. You can't say nothing. You can't speak on this. I'm
Really?
like, yeah, 100%.
Oh
Yeah,
shit. Yeah,
yeah, on my
that's
kid's
tough,
life.
man,
Yeah.
because yeah, it's like I mean, I have my thoughts, but yeah, you can't go against Dana in the
I mean,
UFC because
you
yeah,
know, you've
I
been
know.
there when I didn't play ball. He ain't doing this now. He ain't getting no ticket.
Yep.
He ain't getting no hotel room. He ain't doing Harley. He ain't doing Metro. He ain't doing this,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
Because what? I asked to fight George St. Pierre, Nick Diaz, Nate Diaz. I'm supposed to ask for them.
Right.
5 minutes ago, you told me to promote myself.
Yeah. And you're knocking out all the
So what am I
contenders
doing?
and you're fighting all the contenders during that process. Not like you're dodging anyone,
No,
you know?
like,
Um,
who mad at fucking Wonderboy? Who's mad at Damian Maya? All he do is smile.
yeah.
Robbie don't even speak, and he like a legend that everybody respects, right? I'm fighting people that like, how you gonna build up a fight with a press conference with? I
Right.
mean,
Right. That Darren Till fight, you said that was one of your two flawless performances. What was
yeah,
there was so much noise going into that fight because they were building Till up to be just this like
yeah.
killer.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that.
I was
That's
at
why he
that
got his
fight.
ass
Yeah, I
whooped.
was
me
there.
too.
Yeah, I was at that
and
fight.
they obviously wanted they were putting their stock in him to be the next guy, right? And how do you as like the champ, how do you block that out? Like how are you dealing with that stuff as
I
well as the
didn't block
fight?
it out. No, I used that shit. I didn't
Yep.
block it out
How'd you
because
use
you
it?
got to
Like what do
recognize
you
my whole reign. I was trying to show. I was like, let me show these motherfuckers. Oh, you think he can beat me? Watch this.
Yeah.
That was my whole career,
Yeah.
right? And then when that wasn't enough for me anymore, when that didn't like get me motivated and riled up, you saw my performances. I was just kind of like there
Yeah.
because I knew beating Gilbert, beating Luke, beating Kobe. They told me I had to walk on water to ever fight a title fight again. But you look at Usman, I don't even remember that fight. Like my whole life was in shambles. Like I was going through everything. I don't even remember the fight at all. Right?
Yeah.
A champion like myself should have got a rematch for a fight like that. You see a Garbrandt get knocked out rematch, Joanna and Jake Checker rematch. There's so many rematches. Even even Usman, he's like got a lot of title defenses, but like you count a lot of these fights twice.
Right.
Kobe,
Mhm.
Kobe, Masvidal,
Masvidal.
Masvidal. Like, come on, Leon never. Like, you the rematch king, but they never gave me the rematch to get him.
Right.
So that
I
that
mean,
was
they just
weird.
gave they just gave
Sugar Sean.
Sean
Yeah.
O'Malley the rematch, and he
Of
had a
course, because
yeah.
I was set up to fight Robbie. You remember that?
Yeah, and they
Yes.
canceled. Yeah.
That was the
Yes.
only fight I was set up to fight him again. I said, so you want me to fight Robbie again after I defended his title 3 times? He hasn't fought once since I knocked him out, and he didn't rearrange one grain of hair on my head.
Right.
He didn't land any strike at
Right.
all. So what was the controversy in it? It
Yeah.
wasn't an accident on a punch. I set him up, and I
Yeah.
went back there and I ate. I
Yeah.
saw what I saw, and I went back there and I took it. So what are we talking about?
Yeah. I remember
So
it was like
so Dana was like,
level
"Oh, you
change.
think it's
Bow.
Wow.
Yep.
wow?" Yeah,
Yep.
I told Dana. I said, "Dana, you look." I said, "You love Robbie. I love him too, but
Right.
Dana, he never gonna beat me. Dana, sorry, he not." And Dana was like, "Oh, you think everybody? Oh my God, you was always a conspiracy theory with you." I said, "So what makes sense for this fight to happen? He
Yeah.
hasn't beaten anybody.
Yeah.
There was no controversy. I smoked him in the
Mhm.
fastest to date, the fastest knockout in welterweight championship history. Right?
Yep.
T Wood,
What are we
if
talking
you
about?
had
Right?
an opportunity to fight, take a loss and fight it over again, what fight would that be?
I don't like the crowd with spilled milk. Nobody beat me when I gave my all.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The only fighter that I would on record say I had a weird like the same fight I had against Usman, I was like a nightmare. Like I don't remember what's going on. Even if I fought that person at 100% and I was flawless, me and him was so even. Roy McDonald.
Yeah.
That style
Mm.
matchup for me was so even. Now he showed up. He didn't do any embedding. He didn't do any media. He didn't do none of that. Like I did everything. I put
Right.
dew wipes on the mat. That's when I brought them into the sport. Right. Shout out to my dogs, do white. I brought them into mixed martial arts. We went #1 trending 4 times on Twitter. Right.
Yep.
I managed their budget for many years. A lot of people don't know that. Right. But I brought them into the sport with the Roy McDonald fight. I was focused. I made $100,000 in sponsorships for that fight. Nobody was doing that.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
attention was on that. That week, they told me go to Canada fight Rory, which I'm telling you right now, I am a studier. That motherfucker was good,
Yeah.
right? For my style, he was a problem. But if you telling me I'm going to Canada to fight him, if I win, I'm fighting for the title, it's up, right?
Right.
We get to fight week, Dana and them hit me and say, "Hey, we're gonna give the winner of Robbie versus Matt Brown the title shot." This I would have never came here if it wasn't
Yeah.
for
Why am
that
I
shot.
here?
Yeah.
Fuck no, this dude like 220 pounds. He had no distractions. He's super focused, right? His ground and pound insane. He's long. He got good timing, right? Good kicks, good timing, good takedowns, right? Good cardio. He destroyed Carlos Condit all the way up to the last minute. Him and Robbie went to war twice. He a G,
Yeah.
right? So for me to fight that fight, make the reward match his risk. I'm going to his hometown to fight him, right? So then I act like, oh, forget it. I don't care. I'm still going to beat him. I did care. Like it changed things. It mentally fucked me up,
Mm.
giving me the information fight week. But even if I was 100%, I feel like we were even. It would have been who wanted it more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any memory in your UFC career or even your combat career in general that stands out, like your favorite memory? Is it winning the title? Is it MSG? Is it something else?
Um, the Darren Till fight, man, that was the perfect fight.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I honestly and truly asked God for the perfect performance, and I said, when I have that performance, that's when my time to walk away. Right?
Mm.
I feel like as a passion and as a career and as doing what you love, that was my exit to exit on those terms, right? But I spent millions and millions of dollars. Dude. I went crazy. I gifted. I bought 7 cars like all at one time. One time I went crazy, right?
Yeah.
I was fueling the child, and I gave him everything he never got. I dated every girl, what I mean, he couldn't get, and I was living. I mean, you was out with me and Randy. Last time we wasn't in there with Snoop Dogg and chilling out at the parties. If you wanted to go to a party, who was the guy? It was
It
me.
was you.
Yeah.
Any VIP, any big party, any Maxim 100, any event that had nothing to do with MMA, I was the only MMA fighter that was always red carpet front row every time, right? So I became that, and I never been a fake person. I came in humble, God fearing, chasing and giving him the victory, right? But once I started getting the things, right, I started. I'm smart. My IQ good. My coach is good. No, they don't think I can win. Let me show them. If I show them, I'm giving credit back to myself, right?
Right.
So now this is a job, right? I'm good at. I'm still blessed because I'm fighting at something I'm good at. How many people do a job they hate, they're
Yep.
not good at, and they're not in driving seat, and they're not making what they want to make, right?
Mm-hmm.
As I started get training back for MMA, I love training, right? I didn't know how I was gonna feel, right? But now I'm starting back to the basics. I'm gonna be the first fighter that beat Father Time. Father Time is undefeated. We always quote everything somebody else said without facts and make it law. If I go out and fight like Mike Tyson did, I will be defeated. You know why? Because it's 20 years of videos of this.
Right.
If he does that, run for your motherfucking life.
Yeah.
Run, right? You know, you've seen it. You
Right.
studied it, right? So now the things that I used to do, I used to blitz and dart and warp across a cage, right? And everybody looking for overhand right, and everybody looking for, you know what I mean, the same series. I got away with a lot of poor technique because my timing was on point.
Right.
I knew you didn't think I could get close to you because I'm short, but my arm's long as hell. My arm's 74 inches long, right? And Jay Heron had a 75-inch reach. So I had to get frisky with him.
You
I
had
did
to
a
get to
karate
him
blitz,
before.
Uh-huh.
right? I was not going to get a straight punch on him. I saw it.
Yeah.
His stance was too perfect. He would have been parrying and catching everything. His hands are huge, right? He's strong. He's a good wrestler. So it was going to be a tough fight. So I had to mix it up. I had to do unorthodox. So now my training is back to the basics.
Mm.
Can one punch be thrown with the other hand down, right? Can one right hand be go? If you go and Google Tyron Woodley right hand, you would never see my left hand up, and you would never see my right hip turned over.
Mm.
Go Google it.
All power. I
Never,
mean, all arm, huh? All
never.
shoulder.
It wasn't even power. It was timing because I've
Mm.
never swung as hard as I can in a fight ever.
Right.
I've never swung. When I come back, I am swinging as hard as I can. Maybe 50% because when you throw 100, you got to show the punch.
Mm-hmm.
A good timer gonna see that and evade and scoot back and move, right? So I relax and I get there quick. And before you can defend or react, you don't think I'm in range. I'm turning my finger down. It's like a golf club. I don't have to
Yeah.
My club head speed on my punch was the fastest.
Yeah.
You
Right?
always, you always
And I
did a good
understand my
job
distance and
of
timing was best.
showing that little bit of level, like just a little
Yeah.
faint level change, and you would always freeze somebody because they had to make a choice on defending the takedown or eating that
Yeah.
right hand.
That was the Robbie knockout.
That I mean,
The-
just
I
a
mean,
little
I mean, Robbie-
fucking freeze, bro.
Robbie, you got to respect my two-time. I'm a Hall of Famer in wrestling. Like I told you, I'm better in the gym. Like at Askren, like me and Askren wrestle every single day, every day. Not one day we didn't wrestle. Busted eyes, busted head, and he's a multiple-time national champion, multiple-time world team member, Olympian. Ask been around me. Ask Chandler about me. And I'm not saying I was the best wrestler, but I think Matt Pale didn't do anything. For me, he was the best wrestler. After
Mm.
him, it probably was me. But as far as competition, it was something that I had locked where I couldn't let go and I couldn't do what I needed to do. And I struggled some with that in MMA. But when you look at what I'm able to do, you gotta respect the level change. Because if you
Mhm.
don't, you're on your neck,
Yep.
your head. And Robbie before he joined ATT, I'm not saying I'm one of the reasons why, but I used to drive 15 minutes from my house to the hit squad in Illinois to train with Robbie, right? Robbie knew what time it was. Like it was a child. It was a Division I wrestler wrestling the little league guy. He was getting thrown around like a rag doll, right?
Mhm.
And I'm not trying to disrespect him because I love Robbie still. But it got to the point where Matt Hughes said, "Let me get in there and see what it's about," like trying to defend Robbie. And I'm thinking, like, you ain't finna take me down either. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna disrespect the OG, he a legend,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So you see, you know how wrestlers when they really respect each other, you I can get down with you, but I'm not gonna overdo it in front of your God. You know what
Right.
I mean? Um, I didn't take him down, but I definitely didn't let him take me down. And he was like, "Hey, last time I seen a big black guy in front of me like that, it was Joe Williams because he had a big rivalry with a guy named Joe Williams. It was like 3 or 4 time NCAA champ from Iowa, 3 time world team member, 2 time Olympian. And I was like, yeah, I'm the last guy to beat Joe Williams. And he just looked at me like froze. Right?
Wow.
Like I really was a wrestler.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
really.
What'd you think
So
of real quick? What'd you think of Gable? What's his last name? Steveson. What'd you think of that match and his loss and the way he handled it? Because I thought he handled that beautifully. Because people have been
I mean, he took a risk by going back out and wrestling.
Yeah.
Right?
yeah
We not in a day and age where you got to get out of the mat and find out. I can watch video and video and video on YouTube, and we're showing so much now because we got to show our routine. We got to show the fucking salad we ate, even though we ate the pizza. We got to show all the good shit, the highlights of our life. Right? So when in wrestling, the thing I like about wrestling is a tournament, right? You don't have to secure your all American status throughout the year. You can have a losing record, qualify barely to the NCAA's, and just say, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna win,
and make your run.
and you can go out there and do that, and now you're a national champion. That kid, I mean, Gable wasn't taking it easy. He didn't have a bad match, right? The kid just was not going to be denied on that takedown, and I'm thinking that Gable, because I know Gable, I talk to him occasionally. Um, a lot of people may say, "Oh, he was doing the WWE, he was doing this, and he was training the MMA guys." Like, stop. Some people are built to have a big plate. Some people need that as a distraction because they may only do that, and they may just have all this extra energy. I was that person. Don't tell me not to do the other arts. When I stopped doing the other arts is when I had the worst performances.
Mm.
When I fought Darren Till, I did the most. I recorded an entire album, right? I did a million TV shows, movies, right?
A Dana White
I was
diss
doing
track.
everything. Yeah, beat your ass. And after I beat Darren Till's ass, I dropped I'll beat your ass in the octagon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I feel like it was just a matter of a person that was not going to let that moment go by without getting that takedown. He was minimizing that moment. He wasn't going to be denied. He doesn't care that it was Gable Steveson. He don't care about his Olympic championship. He don't care about his world championship of all his NCAA championships.
Right.
He don't care about ranking, and he may be one of the best heavyweights of all time, right? Definitely in the top 3. He said, "I am beating this motherfucker today."
Yep.
That's what happened. When you had a mind like that, I used to feel like that. I want to fight Carlos Condit. They thought I was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, "No, I'm gonna fight him." My managers thought I was crazy. Like, why you calling Dave Jackson to fight him? Like, me and Malky got into a big argument about it.
Yeah.
He made Carlos. I was like, "Nah, dog. I love Carlos. He's still today my favorite fighter."
Yeah. Yeah. Your resume is crazy, bro. Eric and I were just talking about it off camera before you hopped on. Like, your resume is like insane. You fought everybody, bro.
Fuck, even the Strike Force days.
Fight those guys,
right, even
man.
the Strike Force
Even the
days.
Strike Force days were fucking.
Yeah. My Strike Force, man, especially the last couple fights, man. Derek Safadine, like, I'm like, we should have never fought each other when we fought each other. We was both rising stars. I knew we both was gonna be in title contention. It should have made it to the point where we ended up fighting for a title. You know what I mean? So when I fought Jordan Ian, after he had smoked everybody, Cyborg, like those fights, like I had to. I didn't have much of a choice. It's always been a proving ground for me.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I was like, okay, let me prove it. Even Nate Marquardt, you know what I mean? I was beating Nate Marquardt up, and I had regular energy. I threw a million punches. I thought I was a champion. When he dropped, I was like, oh shit, I'm the champion of the world. So I just started throwing rapid punches. I was young.
Yeah.
Now I know. Make his shit bounce off the mat. Grunt. Open your eyes big. Make it look ugly so the referee can get involved. I was like, ha, 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 ha. I was tenderizing the motherfucking snake, right? So then he recovered. Miraculously, like nothing ever happened. He came out 4th round like it's the 1st round.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to, like, hold on. I'm trying to catch my breath from what I just did to you in the third round. He had some advantages in that fight.
Yeah, I think he might have been a
Yeah.
little saucy.
Yeah.
A little
Yeah.
saucy.
He hate when I say that, but nah, don't do
Bro, just
it.
look at his body. Just look at his body type in that fight.
He got kicked out of. I mean, I don't want to bring that up.
Yeah, no, you're right.
That's his past. There's no point of doing that. But
Right.
but I still was proud of the way I handled myself in that fight. I came back. I went on a run. My next fight was Jay Heron. Each time I lost in the beginning of my UFC career, I came back. The next fight was a knockout, right? Because I had to. Because people forget about. They like very short term memory, right? So go out there and give them something to remember.
Yep. What you mentioned just now, when you knocked Nate down, you had that moment in your head. Is there like a one moment in your MMA or combat career that maybe stands out the most, of like a moment like that where you're like in the actual octagon or you're like facing someone, you're like, holy shit, bro, like I'm actually like here, or I'm about to be champion, or there's Madonna, like you said earlier. Like, is there a moment like that stands out to you?
The funniest moment is when I was fighting Wonderboy the second time, and I had took him down, and I had his arm behind his back. I'm like, oh, chef, and it's school him. But then I had his arm behind his back with my right arm. So my left arm just wasn't the same as the right. So I'm like, if I can try to switch arm, then I can get the right arm free, and the fight over. You gonna be done. So I try to get greedy. I should have just pieced him up with the left. I try to get greedy, and I try to press him up against the cage and switch hands and free the right hand. Right when I did that, he walked up, and I was like, fuck. I remember thinking in my mind, like, you look peanut head, mom. So as I was thinking this in my mind, he switched and put me
on
against
the
cage,
yeah.
right? I'm like, man, he's finna take me down. So then he put his hand in my mouth, right? And I said, and Wonderboy said, "Oh man, you bit me." I said, "Damn." I said, "Man, I don't know why I did that, man." I was like, "Man, my bad. Sorry." He was like, "Oh, don't worry about it. Let's just keep fighting." I said, "All right, cool." So that was the funniest shit ever. Like me and I'm gonna do a memoir of just the Wonderboy fights.
Dude, you had a full conversation, huh? In that second fight.
He's like the Scottie Pippen of MMA. Like,
that's hilarious.
He's such a dope fighter. He was my most expensive training camp. I spent $100,000, I think,
bringing guys in.
Damn.
Bringing guys in. Raymond Daniels, Sage Northcut.
Yeah.
Kid named Avery Plowden that was the current champion.
Is that when you showed him? Is that when you showed Sage Northcut how to season both sides of his chicken?
Oh my gosh! Sage reached out to me. He reached out to me a couple of days ago. Hey, Mr. Woodley, you excited about this GFL thing? Like, yeah. Sage had never had. He had one M&M in his life. He had never had one fried piece of protein. And one weekend, I tainted his whole equilibrium.
He was a one side.
The Roscoe's chicken and waffles, right? I then drove him down the Skid Row, right? And he's like, "Mr. Woodley, I'm angry," right? Then I took him to see the movie Birth of a Nation all in one day.
Oh, shit.
So he was coaching.
He was never the same after that. That's hilarious.
No, Sage is a G, man.
Yeah, he's dope.
He was hard to deal with. Like, his sidekick is a lot better than the Wonderboy's because he's so powerful. Like, I had to wear like a taekwondo vest to spar him, or he would have broke my ribs. So
dang,
yeah, it was tough, man.
When you brought up Wonderboy, I thought you were gonna say when Buffer read the scorecards wrong in the first fight, and they.
I was like, where these motherfuckers go? Where they trying to play? I said, Dana. I said, you come over here, I'm gonna fucking punch you in the face. If you come over here and touch my belt, go to this audio.
Dude, I remember.
If anybody can locate the audio, I said, I'm going to fucking punch you if you touch my belt. Then Duke Rufus grabbed me, and he was like, Tyron, calm down. Remember the champion that you want to be remembered as.
Oh, bro.
Right? Calm down. This is going to be forever. Relax. I said, how is it a draw?
Bro, he was like, don't fuck with me. Don't fuck with me, Bruce. Don't fuck with me, Dana. Because at first they read it as you won. but it was actually a majority draw, so he still retained the title, right? Isn't that how it went?
Yeah, that's how it went. But
Yeah.
like, how you gonna get battered in the first round
Yeah.
and then knocked down 4 times in the fourth round?
Right.
And the dude had the nerve to walk up to me like months later, like, "Hey, how you doing? I want to introduce myself to you." I'm like, "All right, cool." So he said, "I'm one of the judges that judge your fight, and I don't run away from my fights. I'm the one that gave like he proud of it. Like I could smoke you right now. I'm not fucking happy about that because I had to fight him again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a
Yeah.
hard ass fight.
Yeah.
He was like, I gave you a 10-9 in the fourth round because you wasted energy going for that guillotine choke. I said I knocked him down 4 times
Yeah.
and he had his neck out. So as a finisher, I'm trying to go and finish.
Right.
I'm not just a striker. I'm a black belt jiu-jitsu. I'm an all-American wrestler. So I said, so you telling me if I would have choked him out, the fight would have been over. So you're telling me I wasted energy and time trying to guillotine choke him. That's why you didn't give me a 10-8 round.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
I'm
Man.
like, man, get this dude away from me now.
Tyron, who do you see now that reminds you of you, like fighters now that you watch that just, hey, this young guy reminds me of myself?
I don't
No.
because I was an individual. Right now, I see a lot of puppets. I see a lot of fighters that watch Connor, watch John, watch anybody that made money, and they feel like they have to put on this hat and do these antics and act this way. There's no individuality, and you can try to pump and build and force feed a star all you want. They still have to go in there and fight, right? And a lot of foreign fighters are going to win these fights because they're not focused on the nonsense.
Right.
The Russian fighters, the European fighters, these motherfuckers with the nonsense. They may not speak fluent English, right? But they don't have no distractions taking their mind off of it, right? The US, we're focused on the money, the glitter, the clout. They're focused on the legacy. They're focused on winning. They want the money too, but it's not the number one thing. So
Right.
there's no fighter I can because business wise, I knew everybody numbers. I went to the table with strong negotiation power. Um, I didn't bend. Um, in the peak of my career, I didn't bend like
Mhm.
where it would have made sense for me to bend. You know what I mean? Um, as a fighter, I mean, there's some guys that but the sports evolve. There's some guys that are better than me. Like and I'm like, it's more of a strength and conditioning, fast paced gear striking sport, right?
Mm.
With a sprinkle of a takedown here and there. You know what I mean? It's not the complete MMA that we once saw, but Ilya Tapura is nasty. His striking crazy.
He's nasty.
Um, Alex Ferreira is probably my favorite UFC fighter, but outside of them two, there's not nobody I just gotta watch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we'll get you out of here on this. I know we said 1:00, so just kind of tell us what you have coming up with GFL. Like, do you have a date yet? Is there anything set? Do you have a time frame?
Yeah,
maybe?
I got a date. I can't announce it yet, but I'm gonna be at the first fight. I'm gonna be commentating the first fight. I'm gonna be there making sure everything goes smooth, make sure that it gets the attention that it gets. It's a lot of world-class fighters. You want to get fighters in there and build them up and see who can do it and who can be a champion, who has a name. Now you got the fighters that's already done it.
Yeah.
They already have the name. They already did it. They already won titles, right? And it's known that we're getting paid quite a bit of money, right? So now that's what the sport's about. It's prize fighting. The highest prizes are coming from the GFL. The biggest names are in the GFL in every roster.
Mhm.
In every roster in any combat sport in the world, the GFL has the fighters with the most name recognition. All right. So we need to echo that. We need to illustrate that, and we need to get the fans to understand why that's so important, right? And why they should be a part of a moment like this, where we've never seen a fight organization get 50-50 revenue share to a fighter, right? Every fighter that almost draw pay-per-view, if your ass thought you was that big, show it now.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Do everything. Like I remember selling tickets for commission. I fought for my first 3 years for free. right? Amateur back in the old days where you fight in bars and they give you drink tab or some shit, right? So now it's like this is when we unify. This is when we come together. This is when we all use our brains and how we do it on social and how we use the algorithm and how we get asses and seats and how we sell pay-per-views and how we sell merchandise because we're getting 50%.
Yeah.
That's a big incentive,
Yeah.
right? So it's my job. I don't know. I'm not gonna say I'm the captain of the whole league, but I am gonna make an effort to reach out to every fighter that's one of the top fighters and just put that in perspective for them.
Right.
I
Right?
love that,
You don't
bro.
have to like me. You don't have to know me. You can want to slap me. It don't matter. But you do want your bank account with many commas and mostly of them to the left. So
Mhm.
let's get together and let's put our brains together and let's explode this venue. Let's explode this structure because this may open up the door for other organizations to start adopting a revenue share.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll see you out there, man, because I'll be in LA with Kai Kamaka. So I'll see you out
Oh
there.
yeah, Kai Cole.
Yeah, bro. That's my
I like Kai. He
that's my guy, bro.
nasty. Yeah,
He's
I covered him on PFL.
yep.
Yeah.
Yep. He's he's the new breed. You know what I mean? What he can do.
Yeah,
And
he got everything.
yep.
He's proportional. He got power. He got speed. He's tough. He's fast and he's smart too. He's real smart.
Yeah.
And he got crazy legs.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. So I'm
Yeah, I like Kamako.
looking forward to seeing him back in there, man. And you know, I'm with you. I hope this GFL thing goes because we need more organizations like this and more opportunities for fighters.
Yeah.
It can only help.
It can only help, bro.
man.
And I like how Dana's embracing it, right?
Yeah.
Is he? I
It's-
haven't seen.
the first, he said he loves it. If the fighters are getting paid, he kind of like he didn't throw a sneak in there, but he said, he hopes to go through, right? Because everybody's in fear that it's so many names and so much money and such big contracts that they're gonna run out of money.
Right.
Okay, how do you make money? You make money by gating it. You make money by getting the streams, the pay-per-views, the merchandise.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really, if it fails, it's our fault.
Yeah.
Like I got fighters that are hitting me up, all nervous and shit. Like, don't bring that negative energy to me because when I fight, I'm putting my own money behind my own promotion, my own production. I'm pushing everything I can do. I'm calling all celebrities every wheel. I'm doing everything I can within my power to make it succeed
Right.
because I'm compensated when it does. Like
Yeah. So smart, man.
on the whole GFL deal, I got the biggest contract, but when you think of 50-50 revenue share, I can get more. I can get 2 times, 3 times more if the gate does better.
Mhm.
So we're being lazy. Like we playing fucking Call of Duty and scrolling and sliding in DMs and shit. No,
Yeah.
man, let's get for real.
Yeah.
Let's really like this is our time to get paid for all this wear and tear, all this fucking long years, all this other shit that we put our body through, our mind through, right? This is our chance to get paid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So put everything in it.
Yeah. Awesome, man. That's amazing. T Wood, can't thank you enough, bro. This was so cool. I was so excited when Markel told us that we'd be able to talk with you. So can't thank you enough for doing this and appreciate your time, man.
Oh, I love my man. Don't think we forgot you to bring up that Houston Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah. Hey, you want to talk about it real
We'll
quick?
get to that the next time. I'll come back.
Okay, come back. I told Eric about it too. I said we got to have Mighty Mouse on so we can all talk about the that Houston event,
hilarious.
that Madden Bowl, and the whole Super Bowl week. But yeah, man, we'll talk about it next time. E, anything else?
Nah, T Wood, next time you're in town, bro, I'd love to see you. Come through the gym, please.
Man, hell yeah. I'm going to pull up.
Yeah. Let us know, man. Again, thank you so much and appreciate it. And we'll talk to you soon.
I love.
That does it for another episode of Verse Us with Eric Nicksick. Please make sure you like and subscribe on YouTube. Leave a comment below. Let us know who you want to see on the show. Give us questions for the show that you have. Also, make sure you download the audio version of the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, everywhere you get your podcasts. And make sure you follow the show on social media at VSUS Pod. For Eric and Tyron, I'm Randy. We'll see you guys next time.